So on this video I have 3 clips that are taken from investigative documentaries that you could find on this YouTube channel, Eden vs. John. So I want to put these in here so that you could talk to your kids about this stuff and make sure that your kids remain safe. I would recommend, after watching this documentary, to look at the investigations that I have on this YouTube channel. I even have a playlist entitled Satanic Ritual Sacrifice Locations. There are some very important documentaries on that playlist. And I would also like to refer you to these 3 investigations that I have clips from. The first is taken from a documentary investigation called MK Cult, and it is footage of Watertown, Connecticut. Now off of Northfield Road, there's a little hiking trail called the Flesher Preserve. And if you walk about 200 feet back from the road, you're going to see a little structure sitting close to the ground. And when you walk over to it, you see that it's kind of like a well. I really don't know what to call this, but the bottom is filled with water. I don't know if it has to do with drainage or what, but when I got near it and looked inside, I could smell urine. And there appears to be claw marks all around the structure, as if someone has tried to claw their way out. So if you notice, there is a metal pole that is right in this opening of the roof. And I guess what could happen is that a young kid could lower themselves into that well using that pole. And then they find they cannot climb out, so they get trapped in there. So of course, this could traumatize a kid, being stuck in the bottom of a well-type structure. So the people who set this up and or leave it in this condition can arrange to get a kid caught in here, leave the kid in there for a certain amount of time, and then when the kid is in a weakened and traumatized state, they can help get the kid out and subject them to a kidnapping or to more abuse. So when you hear the age-old story of kids getting caught in a well or falling into a well and not being able to get out, I guess this could be one of those wells that kids could get trapped in. So make sure your children see this video and warn them of this trap. So make sure your kids understand this. It's easy to lower yourself down into something, but it's a lot harder to pull yourself back out. Bring them to a playground and demonstrate on the monkey bars how it's difficult to pull yourself all the way up and then push yourself up all the way. The next video clip is from an investigation called Kingston Cult in Kingston, New Hampshire. And I found this trap on a road called Twombly Crossing Road. And there is this weird image or graphic on this sign that you could take a look at. It looks like it has a subliminal meaning to me. It's a short, dead-end road that ends with a cul-de-sac. There's a section of very nice houses, and there is this field that's obviously been used as a dirt bike track. You could see dirt bike tire treads all over this dirt lot here. So this trap has obviously been set up. It is the only ramp in this lot, and it is made with a telephone pole that is held up and wedged between 2 rocks. And then they have this little narrow section of dirt that's piled up against the telephone pole. The position in which this is set up allows someone to get a running start from the road. So you could imagine being on a bike and you start pedaling or riding a dirt bike from a little ways away, and you're aiming for that dirt ramp, and if you miss it just by a little bit, you're going to hit that telephone pole, and it's going to cause you to flip off your bike, and this will cause you some serious damage. And this is right there in the open, in the view of all these upper class houses. So it's my opinion that this is set up by the people in the area on purpose to cause an injury. This is the worst design ever in the history of mankind for a dirt bike ramp. So when I showed my children this, they did not see it at first. So we had a little Lego motorcycle, and we went out to the yard, and I had them get a little branch and a couple of small rocks, and I said, let's go inside and make a model of this ramp and then use your Lego motorcycle to jump over it. Now show me what happens if the motorcycle were to miss the ramp, and then they could see it very well. This ramp is designed to hurt people. So make sure your kids always know to really think about doing something and do not respond to dares. Kids will often dare each other to do things. And the reason they will dare each other to do things is because it's dangerous. It might get them hurt. So they have to be real careful not to respond to peer pressure and to tell all the other kids, I'm not going to do it because it's a stupid idea. That should be your kid's response. I'm not going to spend the rest of my summer in a hospital because I did something stupid that you wanted to see me do. And warn your kids to stay away from kids that might dare them to do something like that. But in a military-controlled region, they start these kids at a very young age. If you ever look into kidnappings, oftentimes kidnappers will have kids with them that will assist the adult kidnappers in kidnapping the kid. The kid will drop his or her guard when other children are around the kidnapper. I'm just going to go with these kids and their uncle here and go check out whatever they're talking about. And they get themselves kidnapped. Well, these kidnappers are part of the military. These organized human trafficking rings are part of the U.S. military. They're part of the MK Ultra mind control program in the military. And they use kids that are young as 6, 7, 8 years old. And they will promise these kids new Nintendos if they could convince the new kid on the block to do something stupid that winds him or her in the hospital or worse. So show your kids this video. Tell them that some kids are very mean and they will like nothing better than to see other kids hurt or wind up in some sort of trouble. Okay, the last clip I have is from an investigative documentary called Snakeland in Peterborough, New Hampshire. So to completely understand, I would recommend watching the whole investigation when you're done with the series. But you could see some of the strange properties on the road where there is this object of concern. So here is Hot Rod Farm with an upside down pink triangle. And it's not really a farm. It's an old disheveled house with junk scattered all over the front yard and a large parking lot out front that can accommodate a dozen or more cars. And just a few houses down on the opposite side of the street is this odd looking structure. It looks like it was recently built. It has a large garage. It does not look much like a house. It looks like a great deal of this structure is designed as a garage. If someone were to build a small house like this, I don't think they would designate such a large part of the structure to this big garage. So it does not look like a regular house to me. I could not see what was down that driveway, but there is this long dirt driveway leading to what appeared to be an empty dirt parking lot. And then strangely, at the edge of this property is this old playground toy. Now I believe that they've taken most of these out of playgrounds. They were big in the 80s, but I believe that they caused so much injuries that all the schools began to take these out. It consists of metal benches that are placed in a circle, and the kids spin this metal object around in circles until it goes very, very fast. And kids could either fly off this thing, they could run into this thing while it's spinning and get hit in the head with heavy, solid iron bars or benches, and it was causing a lot of injuries. They had one of these at a Catholic elementary school that I went to, but I have not seen one of these in a playground for quite some time. But anyway, it is a very unusual sight being on this property. Most people have a regular house, maybe a swing set, a wooden climbing fort. But here's this odd little house. There's a dirt road leading to a parking lot. And at the edge of the property, way off in the corner here, is a very dangerous playground toy that have been removed from most schools and playgrounds that I'm aware of. And then a little ways down the road is the Happy Valley School. And its signs are on this large windowless structure. So obviously this neighborhood has schools with children going to them as well. So for further information, I will refer you to these 3 documentary investigations and also a playlist on this channel called Satanic Ritual Sacrifice Locations. There is a very important documentary entitled Tent City that everyone should watch and then forward that information to their friends and family and help get the word out.